Funding for HiQ is provided by Wing to Wing Foundation and the Dutch Miller Auto Group. Today, these two teams begin their quest for this season's championship on HiQ. And now, from Marshall University's School of Journalism and Mass Communications Television Studio A in Huntington, West Virginia, here is the host of HiQ, Ernie Anderson.
Thank you, Adam Neef, and welcome back to HiQ. Our first playoff game, we have previous winners here with Raceland, who defeated Ironton St. Joe in a 10-point win for them, 230 to 220. And then Oak Hill defeated Shelby Valley, 205 to 190. So two good quality teams here in the first of our playoff games. And we'll start, of course, with Raceland and the warm-up round. And James and company, give me any 1 year is what we're looking for. Any 1 year in the life of Joseph Lister, the British surgeon, medical scientist, experimental pathologist, and a pioneer of antiseptic surgery and preventive medicine. And as always on HiQ, the teams get to confer on every question.
1850?
Say again?
1850?
Yes, 1827 to 1912. So we went into the 1900s, so 10 for you. And likewise, Waylon, any 1 year. William Shakespeare was an English playwright, poet, and actor, widely regarded as the greatest writer in the English language and the world's preeminent dramatist. He often called England's national poet and the Bard of Avon. Give me any 1 year in his life.
$1,700.
No? James? Your guess?
1564?
Is when he was born, actually. Very nice. To 1616. Now, back to you, Waylon, for U.S. museums. In which U.S. state will you find the American International Rattlesnake Museum, Billy the Kid Museum, Carlsbad Caverns National Park, Georgia O'Keeffe Home and Studio, and the International UFO Museum and Research Center? It's one of the Four Corners state and is also known for the Roswell incident. Name this land of enchantment.
Arizona.
Not Arizona. Raceland.
Sure. New Mexico?
New Mexico is right, so you pick up another 10. Your U.S. museums question now. In which U.S. state will you find the Mob Museum, the Neon Museum, the Pinball Hall of Fame Museum, and the Boulder City Hoover Dam Museum? It's a landlocked silver state.
Sure. Colorado?
No? Waylon.
Nevada.
Nevada is right, so you pick up 10 on that. Back to you for a math formula question, James. What's the formula for a parallelogram? Thinking back to when they had that, probably. Just looking for the formula.
What formula? Base times height?
No?
No clue.
Waylon? Your guess?
Length times width.
It's A equals BH. Now, math formula for you. What is the formula for a rectangle? Your guess, Waylon?
Length times width.
No? What's the formula?
A equals 2B.
A equals AB. That's the formula. All right, we have a music question now for both of our teams. And Waylon, we'll start with your team here from Oak Hill. Listen to this selection from Vivaldi's The Four Seasons Summer and tell me whether it's performed andante, allegro, adagio, or presto. Which of those four?
Adagio.
Not adagio. James.
Allegro?
It's presto, actually. All right, music question for you, Raceland. The book was written in 1911. The film version was made in 1925. The Broadway show won a Tony in 1988. It was the longest running show in Broadway history, celebrated its 10,000th performance February 11, 2012, becoming the first Broadway production in history to do so. The title role was portrayed by Michael Crawford. Here's the title theme. Name this Andrew Lloyd Webber show. What is that Broadway show?
Phantom of the Opera.
Phantom of the Opera is right. And that will end our warm-up round, 40-10, in favor of our friends from Raceland in this second round game. When we come back, we'll do the bonus round when HiQ returns.
It's the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville. For a limited time during the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville, get a brand new 2025 K4 starting at just $219 a month and get an additional $750 in owner loyalty incentives on select 2025 Sorrentos and Sportages. And be sure to ask about no payments for 90 days. Shop 24/7 at DutchMillerKia.com.
The W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University doesn't simply offer another degree. It trains students to see, understand, and explain the next stories that will define our world. Advertising and public relations, media studies and production, and journalism degrees at Marshall are unique because they are earned by doing, by getting involved in the work, and by understanding the process. Contact us for additional information or to schedule a campus visit. We're ready when you are.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome back to HiQ. After a tough first round, of course, these are a little more questions a little in the difficult range because we have quality teams coming back for their second round. And we find 40-10 in favor of James and the Raceland team, and that's with whom we're going to speak first. Remind everybody from the first time you were here about Raceland, where it is and all that. Maybe shout out to your principal, your coach, and all that stuff. Even James Collier if you want to, although you don't have to.
Yeah, Raceland is in a small town, Raceland, right outside of Ashland, in Kentucky. Our principal is Tom Collins, and our coach is Miss Clear, or Rebecca Clear. And then I'm here with Gunner, Mason, and Lily on the end. And
you have alternates with you today?
No, it's just us today.
Okay, well, we welcome you back, and good luck in round two. And Oak Hill and Wayland, tell us about your school again.
Hello, we're from Oak Hill, Ohio, in Jackson County. We're a small town village school, not many people. We have a population of 1,000. I'd like to highlight our cross-country team. They've had much success under the leadership of Anna Allen and Rob Sams, and our band program under the leadership of Bryce Werntz, and who's also our HiQ coach today. We've got 3 superior ratings at Music in the Parks the past 3 years, and we're going for a 4th. To my right is Ty Irwin. To my left, Gabe Brown, Jacob Vernon at the end, and Levin Berger is our alternate.
Come back up here, Levin. I want to see that hair again. I want hair like that. How do you get that? How do you know, beauty shop, a barber shop, home perm? Homemade. Very nice. Well, good luck. All right, thank you very much. And there we go. That's our team from Oak Hill, Ohio. And we'll continue with the bonus round here. Okay, Oak Hill, we're going to start with you. This is the 15-10 5 point of the bonus round. Then if you get one of those, we get you to the 5, 10, 15 part, the second part. So famous quotes, who said it? Wayland, pure mathematics is, in its way, the poetry of logical ideas. Education is what remains after one has forgotten what one has learned in school. If we knew what it was we were doing, it would not be called research, would it?
Albert Einstein.
That's right, on the 15-point clue. Nicely done. And now we'll get your 5, 10, 15. The Hunger Games, Suzanne Collins is the category. The Hunger Games was published in 2008. Then there were 2 which followed, one in 2009, one in 2010. There was also a prequel about the early days of the Hunger Games, which was published in 2020. In order, I will give you 5 points for the second of the trilogy, 10 more for the last book of the trilogy, and then 15 more for the name of that prequel. So First one for 5 points in 09.
The second one is Hunger Games Catching Fire.
Catching Fire is right. For 10 more, the one in 2010.
Hunger Games Mockingjay.
Mockingjay, yes, I give you that. And for 15, that prequel in 2020.
A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes.
Is right. Nicely done. You know your Suzanne Collins and Hunger Games. Now, let's get to you and women first for Raceland. From 1963 to 1971, she worked as an attorney for 2 Miami law firms. Then in 1971, she joined the staff of the Judiciary Committee of the Florida House of Representatives.
We'll go for 10.
On February 11, 1993, Bill Clinton introduced her as his nominee for U.S. Attorney General, stating that he wanted to hire a woman for the job, but had also considered multiple male candidates.
Perkins?
Say again?
Perkins?
No. I'll give you 10, Waylon, if your team knows. Waylon, your answer?
Ginsburg.
It was Janet Reno. So we go back to you now for a 15-10-5 in the categories botany. This great was born into slavery in Diamond Grove, Missouri, sometime in the mid-1860s. The date of his birth is uncertain and was not known to him, but it was before slavery was abolished in Missouri.
George Washington Carver.
Is right for 15. Now, your bonus this time is last letter acronyms. We had one of those in, I think, one of our games earlier in the season. For what does the last letter stand in the acronym GPS?
Service.
No?
System?
System. Global Positioning System is right. So you pick up the 5, but we go no further. But I do have a food bonus for you now, James and team from Raceland. This word, taken from the Spanish, means little donkey. Migrant Mexican workers popularized the foodstuff in the U.S.
We'll go for the 10.
They are a traditional food of Ciudad Juarez, a city bordering El Paso, Texas, in the northern Mexican state of Chihuahua, where people buy them at restaurants and roadside stands.
We'll go for 5.
Name this tasty treat consisting of a flour tortilla wrapped into a sealed cylinder shape around various ingredients. The tortilla is sometimes lightly grilled or steamed to soften it, make it more pliable, and allow it to adhere to itself. They are often eaten by hand as their tight wrapping keeps the ingredients together.
I think it's tamale.
No? Waylon?
A chalupa.
It's a burrito.
Oh.
And that's all we can get to in the bonus round. Now, coming up, we will have the 60-second round categories for both teams, and we will have these categories. Alternating chains and whips. Begins with a double vowel and ends with 2 or 3 consonants. Food, drink, neither or both, and also a body part. Interesting categories. We'll see which our teams pick when we come back for the 60-second round when High Q returns.
I don't feel like that one.
It's the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville. For a limited time during the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville, get a brand new 2025 K4 starting at just $219 a month and get an additional $750 in owner loyalty incentives on select 2025 Sorrentos and Sportages. And be sure to ask about no payments for 90 days. Shop 24/7 at DutchMillerKia.com.
The W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University doesn't simply offer another degree. It trains students to see, understand, and explain the next stories that will define our world. Advertising and public relations, media studies and production, and journalism degrees at Marshall are unique because they are earned by doing, by getting involved in the work, and by understanding the process. Contact us for additional information or to schedule a campus visit. We're ready when you are.
Thank you, everybody, and welcome back to High Q. Quite the interesting categories for our 60 seconds round. We have alternating, chains and whips, food, drink, neither or both, begins with a double vowel and ends with 2 or 3 consonants, and also a body part. So 70 to 45. Raceland has the runner-up score at the moment, but perhaps you'll get 120 points in this round. On which category do you like?
We're going to do also a body part.
Also a body part. And we'll give them, of course, 60 seconds to get as many of the 10 as they can. Anything they miss or pass will go over to the other team. The other team will pick their category. Anything they miss or pass will come over to the originating team. So here we go. Also a body part. Start the clock. Beginning of a river.
Mouth.
Young bovine.
Shoe.
Say again.
Skip.
No, a side of a right triangle that is not the hypotenuse.
Leg.
Part of a slot machine one pulls to activate the reels.
Arm.
Yes, the meaty core at the center of an artichoke.
Heart.
Can be the calmest part of a hurricane center.
Eye.
First piece in a loaf of bread, usually the
Heel.
smallest.
Heel.
In Monopoly, it's a card you pick most likely to give you money. Community.
Chest.
To inform on someone to the police or a group of 11 lakes located directly south of Lake Ontario.
Tail.
No, the edge, rim, or brim of a container.
Lip.
Lip is right. So not bad. You got 8. That gives you 125 now. On the body parts they missed or passed on, young bovine. What is that? Time, it's a calf. That's your calf. And to inform on someone to the police or a group of 11 lakes located directly south of Lake Ontario. Your answer? Those are called the finger lakes. You finger somebody if you point them out to the police. So a net 80 for you, James and Raceland, 125. Now, Wayland and team, which category remaining do you want?
Alternating chains and whips.
Alternating chains and whips. Ready? Start the clock. Tool preferred by Leatherface in a 1974 horror classic.
Chainsaw.
A sandwich that just isn't a sandwich without the tangy zip of this Kraft salad dressing.
Mayo whip.
No. Seattle band formed in 1987. Tunes include Junkhead, Hate to Feel, and Sick Man.
Pass.
Name a North American bird known for its odd repeating call.
Whippoorwill.
Right. Series of positions or authority or rank in which each one has direct authority over the one immediately below.
Chain of command.
Anthony Hopkins' weapon in Zorro.
A whip.
It is sent to several recipients requesting you send it to an equal number of recipients, encouraging you not to break it.
Chainmail.
Say again?
Is that chainmail?
No. So you picked up 4 of those, a little tougher than maybe we thought. So James, on the categories of alternating chains and whips, how about a sandwich just isn't a sandwich without the tangy zip of this Kraft salad dressing?
Cool Whip.
That's Miracle Whip. And sent to several recipients requesting you send it to an equal number of recipients, encouraging you not to break it.
Blockchain.
It's chain letter. And we have one more, yeah. Seattle band formed in 1987. Tunes include Junkhead, Hate to Feel, and Sick Man.
Alice in Chains.
Alice in Chains is right. Help from your teammate on that. So you pick up that 10, and that will tighten the score, 135 to 110. We'll check that before we get into the Stump the Experts round when High Q returns.
It's the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville. For a limited time during the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville, get a brand new 2025 K4 starting at just $219 a month. And get an additional $750 in owner loyalty incentives on select 2025 Sorrentos and Sportages. And be sure to ask about no payments for 90 days.
Shop 24/7 at DutchMillerKia.com.
The W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University doesn't simply offer another degree. It trains students to see, understand, and explain the next stories that will define our world. Advertising and public relations, media studies and production, and journalism degrees at Marshall are unique because they are earned by doing, by getting involved in the work, and by understanding the process. Contact us for additional information or to schedule a campus visit. We're ready when you are.
Thank you and welcome back to High Q. After 3 full rounds of play, we find 135 to 110. 2 good quality teams back for their second match. The winner will move on to the quarterfinals eventually. And we've got the Stump the Experts round, 20 points apiece. We're going to start with a visual question. And James and team, it's for you. This is the French emperor and military commander who rose to prominence during the French Revolution and led successful campaigns during the Revolutionary Wars. Now, he was the leader of the French Republic as first consul from 1799 to 1804, then of the French Empire as Emperor of the French from 1804 to 1814, and briefly again in 1815. Now, I'm looking for his 2-word nickname. Photographs by Franz Josef Sandmann, circa 1820. What is his 2-word famous nickname? Perhaps not as famous as we thought.
Tiny Emperor?
No, that's not a bad guess. Waylon, do you know his nickname?
Little Conqueror?
Close, Little Corporal. Now your visual question. Napoleon was held in British custody and transferred to this British overseas territory located in the South Atlantic Ocean, 1,162 miles from the west coast of Africa, with Angola and Namibia being the closest nations geographically. It was named after the mother of Constantine I. It's one of the most remote islands in the world, was uninhabited when discovered by the Portuguese en route to the Indian subcontinent in 1502, and is the United Kingdom's second oldest overseas territory after Bermuda. An answer for me, Waylon?
Elba?
No, that's not a bad guess.
What is that? Aline? Aline?
No, it's St. Helena. All right, 5-letter word. 5 is in quotation marks, so that means the first answer, or each of your answers, will begin with the letter F, 5-letter word. In anatomy, it's the bone of the thigh or upper hind limb articulating at the hip and the knee. In zoology, it is the 3rd segment of the leg in insects and some arthropods, typically the longest and thickest segment. What is that 5-letter word beginning with F?
Femur.
Femur is right. Another 20 for you. Your F 5-letter word now. The person who commits a crime that tends to involve physical violence or some type of action that can cause extreme harm psychologically. Examples include manslaughter or murder, aggravated assault, kidnapping, and more. What is this person called?
Felon?
Felon is right. And that brings you to 155, 130 for Waylon and team, and more questions, and it's yours on body of water, James. This body of water separates Syria and Israel. It's the lowest freshwater lake on earth and the 2nd lowest lake in the world after the Dead Sea. It's where Jesus gave his Sermon on the Mount and where Jesus walked thereupon.
Sea of Galilee?
That's it for another 20.
Good job. I did not know that.
Your body of water now, Waylon and team. This is one of the major European rivers. The river begins in the southeastern Swiss Alps, forms part of the Swiss-Liechtenstein, Swiss-Austrian, and Swiss-German borders, and defines much of the Franco-German border. then turns into a predominantly westerly direction and flows into the Netherlands, where it eventually empties into the North Sea.
The Rhine.
Ryan is right. Staying with you for Broadway. Despite being a relatively new production, this is undoubtedly one of the best Broadway musicals ever about the founding father of America. The musical broke records at the 70th Tony Awards when it received 16 nominations, 11 of which it won. These awards include Best Musical, Best Original Score, Best Choreography. In the same year, it won the Best Musical Theater Album at the Grammys, thanks in part to music by Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Hamilton.
Hamilton is right. Your Broadway question now, James and team. In 1994, Disney released an animated film, and 3 years later, this musical premiered on Broadway with the same plot as the film. In 1998, it received 11 Tony Award nominations. It won 6 of its 10 nominations, including Best Musical and Best Direction of a Musical. It centers on Simba's journey of reclaiming the throne from his usurping uncle Scar, finally becoming the leader of the Pride Lands.
Lion King.
The Lion King is right, and that wraps up a terrific playoff game. We have, I think, a 15-point difference. We'll check that, 195 to 170 for Oak Hill, when we come back to High Q.
It's the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville.
For a limited time during the New Year's sales event going on right now at Dutch Miller Kia in Barbersville, get a brand new 2025 K4 starting at just $219 a month. And get an additional $750 in owner loyalty incentives on select 2025 Sorrentos and Sportages. And be sure to ask about no payments for 90 days.
Shop 24/7 at DutchMillerKia.com.
The W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University doesn't simply offer another degree. It trains students to see, understand, and explain the next stories that will define our world. Advertising and public relations, media studies and production, and journalism degrees at Marshall are unique because they are earned by doing, by getting involved in the work, and by understanding the process. Contact us for additional information or to schedule a campus visit. We're ready when you are.
Thank you and welcome back to High Q. Wow, what a great game it turned out to be here. The first of our playoff games, and we find 195 to 170 in favor of James and the Raceland team. What I didn't know is the young man that I love his hair is a foreign exchange student from Switzerland. How about that? So feel the burn. You see what? Burn Switzerland. Yeah. I know. These are all coming out on cassette at the end of the tournament. What's a cassette, Grandpa? Well, it's that we'll see Raceland in our next round of play. Next week, another couple of first-round games here on High Q. Ernie G. Anderson reminding you to adopt a spayed or neutered pet for a lifetime of love. And we'll see you next time here on High Q. Thank you very much. You're welcome. Good luck in your... Where you're going to afterwards, after high school. Don't forget to take your pens with you, Coach. Thanks for coming. Appreciate that. We'll get in touch for next season. Good. Wonderful. And we'll get you all T-shirts as well. Yes, it was. How about that? Somebody forgot their pens. Somebody forgot their pens.
Funding for High Q is provided by Wing to Wing Foundation and the Dutch Miller Auto Group. This is Adam Needham speaking for High Q, an Ernie Anderson production in association with Marshall University's School of Journalism and Mass Communications.